Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Down the Rabbit Hole. Now, I was all ready to keep going with my material session quilts this week, but I realised that tonight is the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympics, and I've been meaning to release this pattern for a very, very long time, and I decided that this was the perfect time to just actually get myself together and do it and fix it up. So this quilt, it's called Aussie, 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 for reasons that will become quite clear in a minute. I apologise for its slightly wrinkled situation, but we've put it up on a quilting frame to actually get the length of it because it wouldn't fit in my usual on my usual design wall. This is obviously an Australian flag. Now, if you're in other countries, I'm sorry that it's an Australian flag, but really, why aren't you cheering for Australia at the Olympics? We're the best. Anyway, ever since I first designed this quilt, which I think was in about 2015, it might actually be longer ago than that, but I'm not entirely sure. It was for a magazine called Great Australian Quilts, and it was on the front cover, and which was lovely. And I had a lot of fun making it, and I've taught it quite a few times since, but I never released the pattern separately to the magazine. I just never really got around to doing it, partly because the big stars and everything are so enormous. And at that stage, I did not have a graphic designer in my family. Like, I'm a designer, but I'm not great on the computer. And my son is, and he does all of my templates. So we've now been able to, please excuse my dog, we've now been able to work out to get all of the pieces to be able to be printed on your home computer to print off the large templates for the stars that go along with it. So the thing that I love most about this quilt is the pieced background. So every single piece of patchwork that's in here, they're all squares. It's a fairly simple construction to make the Union Jack. One of the reasons that I did it the way that I did it, so it's not, you'll notice if you're really into your flags, that this is not exactly the way that it should be on the flag. This piece should come up here. And in order to get that going, to cut it out of a rectangle and make it simple to piece, it was quite difficult. And I had quite a discussion with Quilter's Companion at the time about putting it together. So that part is not accurate in terms of the way that the flag should exactly look, but it is easy to sew together, okay? Pretty much that's all pieced together with squares. And then in the background here, I have pieced in all of these extra stars. So there's sawtooth stars pieced into the background everywhere with all the scraps. And that's one of the things I love most about this quilt, is that there's stars within stars. I have used just about every kind of dark blue fabric under the sun in here. There's everything from reproductions to Japanese prints to, this is a woven, an indigo woven, that's a bit of Lizzie House. What else have we got? More Lizzie House, Japanese, that's a Nana Euro double gauze. There's spots, there's bits of Jane Sassaman. I mean, that's a bit of canvas. There's all sorts of stuff in the background, and I think with this quilt, the more you put in there, the better. So if you decide that you're going to make it and cheer along with the Aussies at the Olympics while you do it, the more the better for this quilt. The more fabrics in the background, the more exciting and vibrant it's actually going to look. So get excited and do it. The other thing that you really need to know about this quilt, another one of my favourite things about it, is what I found to go on the back. If you're Australian, you absolutely know what those are. It's this absolutely spectacular fabric that I can remember being on people's beds when I was a kid. People had doona covers and stuff made out of it. So there's Arnott's biscuits, Heinz tomato ketchup. They're all old labels, essentially, all Australian labels. There's Vegemite, aeroplane jelly. And I just absolutely love this piece of fabric, and I found it relatively easily back then online, and it was a sort of a print on demand situation. So if you are going to make this quilt and you want to add one of those spectacular things, look, Lee and Perrin, it's so great, to the back, then search Australian label fabric, and I think you'll probably be able to find it. If you're not Australian and you'd like to make a quilt like this, The fun thing about it is that you could use the method that I've used to put this together for your flag. So something like the flag of the Netherlands. I know a lot of you out there are Dutch. A lot of my followers are Dutch. You could so easily put this together just with strips, but piece all the background. Put the stars in, put the interesting things into the background, and same goes for the American flag. Now I know that you then have the situation on the top of all the little stars and what have you, but if you wanted to piece all of your stripes in using a similar patchwork method, it would work really, really beautifully. And then you just have to obviously get all of your little stars on there, but you could do some machine applique, or you could do what I've done here, which is, this quilt is really old now, and it's actually belonged to my son ever since. So it's actually a really nice way to show you what happens when you do this. So I cut my stars out. I did not use a Vlisafix or anything like that to fix them down. I hand tacked them on, and then I machine stitched just over 1/4 inch in from the edge of all of them because I wanted them to fray. And over the 15 years of Oscar having this on his bed and dragging it around and putting it in front of the TV and all of that sort of stuff, he's 26 now and he still uses this in front of the telly. It's his favourite quilt. It's become beautifully weathered, and it's really, really lovely. And I just think it's one of the really nice parts of the quilt, how beautifully used it is. It's also probably a bit stained because I think he tends to eat chocolate ice cream and, you know, the dog gets on it and all that sort of stuff, but that's right, that's what quilts are for, isn't it? Anyway, that's my little deviation. Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. I hope we're out for medals at the Winter Olympics, and no matter who you're barracking for, I hope you enjoy them, and please make the quilt.